Two 200-pound St. Bernards nobody wanted, 6 days from being put down at a rural shelter for being too big and too bonded to split. Then one lonely woman in the Adirondacks took both home. And what those two dogs did the night a blizzard buried her 80 feet from her own back door is the only reason she lived to see morning. Rachel Sorensen was 44, and she had come to the mountains to disappear. 18 months earlier, a 19-year marriage ended in an Albany lawyer's office, and Rachel took the one thing she wanted, a drafty farmhouse on a dirt road outside Saranac Lake, New York, that they'd bought years ago and never lived in. Now she lived there alone, 3 miles from the nearest neighbor in the deep cold of the Adirondacks. She let the phone ring out. She let the friends fade because they'd been their friends, not hers. When her old dog, Rusty, died that first winter alone, Rachel decided she was done. Done with dogs, done with letting in anything that could leave. She had made her peace, she told herself, with being alone. She was wrong about almost all of it. The two 200-pound St. Bernards came from a bad place, seized that fall from a collapsed backyard breeder, 14 dogs in one frozen barn. These two came out underweight and inseparable, and after rehab they were healthy, enormous, and unadoptable. Two 200-pound dogs that ate 30 pounds of food a week, a bonded pair the shelter wouldn't split. The one time they tried, the bigger one tore his paws bloody at the gate. Nobody wanted one giant, let alone two. After 71 days, they went on the euthanasia list. I still see you haven't subscribed. She came here to be alone, and two dogs nobody wanted wouldn't let her. Subscribe before you see why that saved her life. Rachel would never have known except for Walt. Walt was 70, the man who plowed her road, and the closest thing she had to a person. He volunteered weekends at that shelter. One afternoon, he showed up on her porch and asked her to foster 2 dogs through the holidays so they wouldn't be put down first. Rachel said no. She said it twice. Walt nodded and drove away. 2 hours later, his truck came back, and in the bed were 2 of the largest dogs she had ever seen. And Walt just said, "They were out of time, Rachel. It was today or never." She was too furious and too soft-hearted to turn a truck around in the snow. That was how she met Otto and Boone. She told herself it was temporary. The dogs did not agree. Otto, 201 pounds and almost pure white, decided within an hour that Rachel was his, and from then on, he would not be more than 4 feet from her. If she shut the bathroom door, he lay against it and sighed like the world was ending. He kept a paw on her at all times, draped over her foot while she read, and it drove her half out of her mind. Boone, 199 pounds of mahogany and white, was the goofball, flinging himself face first into every fresh snowbank and coming up with a white beard of snow, delighted every time. They drooled ropes that froze into icicles on their jowls, and her silent grief-shaped world, built so nothing could ever hurt her again, was suddenly full of 400 pounds of dog that would not leave her alone. She fought it for 2 weeks. Then one night, she caught herself talking to them out loud, and she sat on the kitchen floor and cried for the first time since the divorce, and Otto pressed his head into her chest, while Boone lay across her legs, and for the first time in 18 months, the house didn't feel like a tomb. The clinginess she'd hated became the thing she leaned on. Otto's paw on her foot at 2 a.m. was the only reason she slept. She quietly stopped calling them Fosters. It came the 3rd week of December. The forecast called for a foot. The mountains delivered a whiteout that dumped 2 feet in 6 hours and killed the power by dusk. Rachel pulled on her boots to start the generator in the shed 80 feet down the yard, with Otto and Boone shut inside against the wind. She never made it back. On the way up, in the dark and blowing snow, her boot found ice under the fresh powder. Her feet shot out under her. She came down hard on her right ankle with a crack she heard over the wind. Her head struck the frozen ground, and she was on her back in the deep snow, one ankle useless. She got 6 feet crawling before the cold stopped her. She screamed, but the storm ate her voice. There was no cell signal out here. She lay in the drifting dark 80 feet from a door she couldn't reach and understood with terrible calm that she was going to die in her own backyard and no one would know to look for days. That was when she heard the door. Inside, Otto and Boone had heard the crack and the scream, and 400 pounds of St. Bernard hit the mudroom door she hadn't latched until it burst into the storm. They came down the slope through the snow up to their chests and found her by scent under a blanket of white. Then those 2 dogs did the thing their breed was born in the Swiss Alps 300 years ago to do. Otto lay full length on top of Rachel, all 201 pounds of him pressing his warm body over her and giving her the only heat she had left. and Boone turned and threw himself back up the slope and down the road into the whiteout, half a mile through 2 feet of snow toward the only lit window for miles, Walt's. Walt heard him first, a huge dog hurling itself against the door, barking like the end of the world. He followed Boone down Rachel's road and up her slope to a low white mound with a second St. Bernard lying motionless on top. Walt called 911, and he and Otto kept Rachel alive until the county snowcap fought up the road 40 minutes later. Her core temperature was 89 degrees. Another 30 minutes, the paramedics said, and nothing anyone did would have mattered. She had a fractured ankle, frostbite in 2 fingers, and a concussion. She was alive. And she was alive for one reason: the same 2 dogs nobody wanted, the same 400 pounds of too much, the same eat-you-out-of-house and home giants a breeder threw away and a shelter couldn't give away. Otto's suffocating need to stay within 4 feet of her, the clinginess that drove her crazy, was the exact instinct that put him on top of her in a blizzard and would not let him leave. 200 years ago in the Alps, St. Bernards like these worked in pairs to save travelers buried in snow, one lying on the freezing body to keep it warm, the other running for help. Nobody taught Otto and Boone that. It was written into them before they were born. It was never too much dog. It was exactly the right 2 dogs at the one moment she needed them most. When the local paper ran the story, something broke open. In 5 days, that overwhelmed shelter took 44 adoption inquiries. People asking for the big dogs, the old dogs, the bonded pairs nobody wants. 4 more dogs came off that same list that month. Today, Otto is 4 and Boone is 5. Rachel's ankle aches when the weather turns, and she says she's glad. It means she can feel it, means she's still here. Otto still keeps one paw on her foot every night, and she will never again call it too much. Boone still dives face first into the first snowbank of every winter and comes up grinning under a beard of white. Rachel doesn't go out to that shed alone anymore. She's got 400 pounds of St. Bernard breaking a path beside her, 2 dogs who decided long ago this woman would never be left alone again. And she isn't. We tell ourselves we rescue them. We fill out the forms, buy the enormous bags of food, call ourselves saviors. But sometimes the 2 dogs the whole world threw away were built centuries ago for one purpose: to go into the cold and dark after the people everyone else gave up on, lie down in the snow beside them, and refuse to leave. Sometimes the ones nobody wanted are the only ones who come for you when you're buried and freezing and sure no one is coming. So tell me, did Rachel rescue those 2 St. Bernards from that list, or did they rescue her from that snow? Drop your answer in the comments. And if a dog ever refused to leave your side when you needed it most, say their name below, because someone out there tonight, alone in the cold, needs to hear that they came.